Hi guys, my name is Franco. I'm a 25-year-old transgender person living in England currently, and if you've been following my channel recently, then you'll know that I've been transferred from my GIC in London to shared care with my GP, and I've said this a few times before, that I didn't want shared care with my GP because my GP is completely and utterly useless, and I was going to appointments with my GIC for 2 years, which is a lot of time to spend at a GIC going there for testosterone appointments and injections or prescriptions and stuff like that. I think they would be the same way but slightly more accepting of me going there still and picking up prescriptions for testo gel, which is a testosterone gel that you apply every day, roughly the same time in the same place. I just didn't want to keep doing that at all. So after a year of being on the gel, I changed to the injections, and I get the injections every 12 weeks. You can look at my other videos that I've made about this and said about this, because I just feel like I'm repeating the same information. The videos that I've made before about this, I was just not wanting my GP to do them for a lot of different reasons, but mainly because they're just completely and utterly useless. They don't even do blood tests, and I need blood tests for monitoring. The fact that a libido injection is more training than a blood test, and a blood test is like nurse training 101, whereas a testosterone injection is like extra training that a nurse would have to do outside of her regular nurse training. I don't know how many people actually go through the training for testosterone injections, but some people do it, some people don't. It is ultimately their lives in what they do and what they don't do. And there's many different people that have testosterone injections. It's not just transgender people, it's cisgender people as well. I had my first appointment a few days ago, and it took me a few days to sort of recover from essentially what happened. My GP doesn't do blood tests, basically. I got an email and a text message from my GIC in London saying that essentially my GP had accepted shared care and they would take over, which I thought was nice of them. Not something I would actually thought they would do, but they've done it. So the start of February, I went in there to book it, got it booked in. I asked them about blood tests. They couldn't do it, which I think is completely and utterly strange that they can't just do something that's incredibly simple to do. For someone who's medically trained, it's something that's the easiest thing to do. They told me that I had to get the blood test done in the hospital. I made an appointment for the day before to get my blood test, and I emailed the GIC to say if the day before was okay, because the GP had booked in my testosterone injection at 9:10 in the morning, so I didn't have any time to go anywhere for the day of the appointment. I went into the hospital to get my blood test. The receptionist wouldn't let me have the blood test because they didn't have some kind of form sent over to them. I didn't know what this form was for this blood test. I had no idea, and I don't think it should be on me to have this form when I knew nothing about it. It was just not explained to me in any way, shape or form. As of now, I don't think anyone wants to take any kind of responsibility of who was the one to send this form over, but that will be explained later on. And I explained to the receptionist that I have these testosterone injections. I first had them from a place in London, didn't go into what this place was or why I have the testosterone injections in the first place. And then the GP took over shared care. My GP doesn't do blood tests, and she was a bit confused about that. So I was grateful that I wasn't the only one that was confused about a GP not doing blood tests. So she wasn't at all sure who was the one responsible to send over this form, the place in London or my GP, and I had absolutely no idea either. And she was like, why don't you phone the GP and contact the place in London and then get them to send over the form? And I was like, I can do that, but hospitals are notorious for having no signal, so I couldn't make phone calls. There was other people in the reception area, and I didn't want to have to explain things over the phone out in public where there was other people around. And that day I had to go to Windsor for the dentist, and I don't live in Windsor. It is sort of kind of close but far enough away that I didn't have enough time to run round trying to chase up this form for them to send it, and I didn't know if it was the GP or the place in London, so it was trying to contact the GP, trying to contact the place in London, and who knows how long that would have taken. And I had to go from where I live in Reading to Windsor for my dentist appointment, and even with just getting in there and having the blood test and getting out, I didn't know if there was enough time in between without having to sort out this hassle of finding a form and getting it sent over. I just left, basically. I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but that was just the only thing I could do at the time. So I got all the way to Windsor, had my dentist appointment, and then by the time I got back it was like afternoon time. So I went to the GP and asked the reception about what was going on, and the receptionist was a bit funny and a bit rude and a bit arrogant, which is one of the reasons why I didn't want this shared care, because everyone who works in my GP seems to be like that, and I just don't want to be around those people, and I just don't trust those people, and I can't change GPs because I live outside of GP catchment areas of every GP I've tried to contact. So it's not like I can just switch GPs. It's incredibly annoying and incredibly frustrating that I've just never known exactly what I'm supposed to do when I can't transfer GPs. I didn't know this form existed in the first place. I don't know who was responsible to send it over, the GP or the place in London. I just realistically didn't know what I was supposed to do, and I had other things to go and do. And it's like with work, I already told them that the 24th of February that I needed a day off for the dentist and a blood test, and then the next day I needed the day off or time off for my injection. So that's effectively like 2 days off work. They've missed out on me being there. I've missed out on work that's gonna pay me money to fund top surgery. So I've took a hit as well. The receptionist was like going on and on and on about this situation, and like it's not the GP's responsibility to send this form over, it's the place in London's responsibility to send the form over. So it really, to me, didn't seem like it got me anywhere closer to what I was trying to get. And by that time I knew I couldn't go and get a blood test at the hospital again because I don't live in the town centre. At the time it would have hit rush hour, so that would have taken a lot longer for me to go to the hospital because I can't drive at the moment. I have to get public transport. So there's that to think about. In London I can't just, one, spend money I don't have on trains, and two, the quickest time solely on the train that I can get to London is 35 minutes, and I would have to get a bus to the town centre and then that 35-minute train and then Paddington to Soho, and I just knew that the place in London would be closed by then. But even if I had the money, what would have been the point of me going to London? I got home and I tried to find the place in London, and every time I was getting automated answering machine service, it was getting to about 5 p.m. and I googled the opening times of the place and it said it was open until 7 p.m, which surprised me because I didn't know that before. And I phoned them again and I got another automated voice, but this time it said it was closed. And you could think that I could have phoned the GP and the place in London on the trains. I don't want to have to go into medical details on the phone in public spaces, especially on public transport where there's other people around and they are absolutely 100% listening in on my conversation. Phone reception service round where I live is not reliable really at all. So there's also that to consider. Just after the last time I phoned the place in London, I sent them an email. It is now 3 or 4 days later and I've had no response at all, none whatsoever. I've had a lot of stuff to do for the past few days, work included, and tomorrow is Saturday, so I have to try and Google their opening hours again to see if they're open and phone them to see what's going on. And then the next day, the 24th of February, I had my appointment. I had no idea if I was supposed to cancel it or keep it or what, I don't know. So I went to it. I didn't know necessarily what to expect for this appointment, but I was thinking or assuming that it would be like my London appointments. I would go in there, they would ask me some questions, I would answer, and it would be about transitioning. Am I happy with transitioning? Am I happy with testosterone? Do I still want to be on it? That sort of thing. What I did not expect is what happened. This nurse came out to get me. I went into the room and she was like, even before I had the chance to say anything, she was like, oh, come on, come over, I'll give you the injection. And she just didn't seem like she wanted me to be there in any way, shape or form. I saw that the testosterone bottle, because it's in a little glass bottle, was already opened. The syringe was already prepared and it had the liquid inside of it, which I thought was incredibly strange for them to have the testosterone in the syringe already and all of that kind of stuff. It seems really weird. I managed to get out some questions to supposed to do with this injection and not having a blood test beforehand, and can she just do a blood test quickly for me? And I explained everything that happened as well, but she looked at me as if I was the problem. She actually said to me that I was the one responsible for the blood tests and that I need to be proactive with the blood tests. But I'm just going based on the information that the GP said which was that they don't do blood tests. And the lady at the reception at the hospital says they can't do my blood test without some sort of form. The GP receptionist and that hospital receptionist didn't know who was the one really was responsible for sending this form over. And as I've said before, I didn't know this form existed. I didn't know anything had to be sent over. So I don't know really how it's my responsibility. The place in London doesn't get back to me. How am I supposed to know what they're going to say? The nurse that I had said that we need to hurry up and be quick about this. She phoned someone else that works in the surgery to try and work out what she was supposed to do, as if she was like clueless on what she was supposed to do. So that just automatically gave me even more red flags, and that I didn't want to do it and I didn't want to be there. But I think the person on the phone did ask her if she could do a blood test, but she refused. One, because she'd already taken out the testosterone from the bottle and her next patient was already waiting. Obviously, the next person's going to be there because it's their appointment. I get and understand that they don't want to be delayed in any way, but it's like a blood test takes 5 seconds. Like, why can't you just do it there and then? I don't get it. I don't understand it, like I've already said before. Literally the reasons why I didn't want the GP to do shared care has happened. She gave me my testosterone injection anyway. I knew that I could have said no, but it was like she was going on and on and on and on about the fact that she'd already prepared the testosterone expensive. And I was like, that's not my responsibility. I'm not the one who is a medical professional and decided to take out the testosterone before I even got in the room, before I was even called out. That's not my responsibility, that's hers. And really, she should have taken the hit for it. So it's like very confusing, overwhelming for me as a person, and I got no questions at all about why I was on testosterone. Was I happy with it? Was I not happy with it? Any questions about my transition? Nothing like that. Not even like a generic general how are you at the start. Nothing like that. It was just like get in, get out. Really need to find the GIC in London, which is going to be top priority for me.